Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and this is our weekly energy reading for the week ahead, where we are gaining a deeper understanding and higher conscious awareness of what the energy is in the week ahead and how we can navigate it as our higher selves. So for those of you who are returning subscriber, welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome as well. I always set the intention that those who are meant to hear these messages align with this reading. So if you align with this reading, then there may be a message that you are meant to hear. So thank each and every single one of you for being here. I'm so grateful to channel these messages and to relay them to you. So last week, normally I shuffle the cards and I do this whole reading in front of you. Last week, I felt called to redo the reading and refilm it. And this time I literally filmed the whole thing, got to my phone only to see that it did not record. So, unfortunately, I won't be shuffling the cards in front of you, but I'm still going to be sharing this reading. I'm not going to shuffle the cards again because this is so in tune, so in alignment with this coming week and some really important messages that I'm here to share. So without further ado, let's get into this. I'm going to share with you what I pulled, and we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming of me doing the shuffling and the card pulling in front of you next week, hopefully, with no technical difficulties or anything like that. But last week we had a very special reading because it was the end of Mercury retrograde. We also had the full moon in Aries, and we definitely see the full moon in Aries coming up in this reading as well. And this week we are stepping into Scorpio season, and Scorpio season is a sign of transformation. So we can definitely expect to experience some changes in this coming Scorpio season starting this week. So let me share with you what came up regarding these changes, these transformations, and all of that good stuff that we are divinely being shown. So all right. Okay. I'm still calming my ego from the fact that I just did this whole reading literally just now and it didn't record, and it was so good, y'all. But patience. Okay. So, overall energy for this coming week, we've got the Sage, to be devoted and committed. We also got the Spirit Fox, to trust your talents in changing times. And lastly, but not leastly, we've got the Traveler, to move in a new direction. So overall, first week of Scorpio season, we can definitely expect new beginnings on the horizon. We can expect more releasing taking place. We can expect a lot of shifts, changes, and we are encouraged that amongst these changes and shifts and transitions, we are being encouraged to remain centered and grounded in our inner knowing, in what it is that we're being called to do. We are being called to strengthen our trust in self, trusting ourselves, trusting our decision making, and knowing that we are ultimately doing what is best for us. And that regardless of what happens in the outside world, regardless of what happens around us, we are going to remain devoted and committed in fulfilling our soul's purpose, in following our intuition, and listening to our calling. So this is also an affirmation and a confirmation that your efforts aren't going unnoticed. All that you have been investing in yourself is not going unnoticed. It is worth it. It has, it's definitely bringing in this shift in energy in your life that you are going to see the internal investments manifesting in the external environment around you. So this is an affirmation, this is a confirmation that yes, keep doing what you're doing, keep investing in yourself, keep healing, keep putting in those efforts into yourself, into your dreams, into reinventing yourself, into moving in a new direction. This is also a confirmation that yes, move into that new direction. And for those of you who are listening to this and are like, I don't know what new direction, I don't know, then just know that it's probably going to come up for you. And in that moment, you'll know, like, oh, this is that moment where I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to move in a new direction. And yes, I'm going to move in a new direction because this is confirmation to do so. Okay? And for many, moving in a new direction means trusting your talents. Are you going to trust yourself or not? Are you going to trust your passions? Are you going to trust what you are so innately good at? Are you going to trust your talents? And this is a time where you really gotta trust that in you trusting yourself, in you trusting your talents, the new direction that's going to shift you into is divine. It is where you are meant to go. So remain devoted and committed to yourself, y'all. Remain so strongly, like, have that strong conviction that you following your passions, you taking care of your needs, you fulfilling your deepest desires is not going to lead you astray. It is what you're meant to do at this time, and is going to ultimately lead you to reaping the sweetest fruit you have ever had. Okay, so we're gonna touch base on those cards again, but let's continue on with this reading and how it all unfolded. So this is when the Aries full moon really showed up, when I asked, what do we focus on healing this week? So as you can see, we have the moon showing up in these cards, and we also definitely have Scorpio energy literally in basically every card of this reading. So we've got solitude. Solitude is really going to assist you in your healing. Gift yourself solitude. Gift yourself solitude. Scorpios know, or will come to know, that solitude is incredibly sacred to them. Scorpios who do not gift themselves solitude, who do not prioritize moments of solitude, end up becoming very imbalanced. And solitude really assists in remaining in alignment, remaining tuned into yourself, and solitude also allows you to practice the discernment of knowing what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. So y'all, tap into solitude, okay? I know also that Scorpio season is a season of shadow work. It is a season of really turning inward, of really confronting some truths that may be hard to confront. Scorpios are comfortable with the darkness. Scorpios, because they are the sign of transformation, they are more comfortable with burning into ashes and then rising from the ashes. That process of transformation, of alchemization, of transmutation, of evolution. And what was I getting at? So I know for me, last year in Scorpio season, it was the deepest shadow work I've ever done. It is the most shadow work I have ever done in my life. And it's no doubt to me that because I gifted myself so much solitude, I allowed myself to do this shadow work. This ended up being the most healing of my life so far. And so that's just a testimony for you, an affirmation for you that yes, solitude is one of the sweetest things. And also we've got the fulfillment card. I believe the fulfillment card came up last week or the week before, but this is definitely the full moon in Aries, re-emphasizing the fact that it's time to really heal the ways in which you are not fulfilling your desires and your needs. Okay, this is a time to fulfill yourself, to take care of your needs, to fulfill your deepest desires. And know again that you will reap the fruit. Okay, you will reap the fruit. You will reap the rewards of your solitude, of your commitment to self, of your devotion to your callings, of your development in strengthening your trust in self, in you allowing yourself to move in a new direction, to choose new, right? To step into new cycles, to no longer repeat old cycles. So as we move into what it is that we are being called to heal. Oh, did I say that these two are not what we're being called to heal. These two is the energy to align with should any challenges or obstacles arise. Excuse me, y'all. Should any challenges or obstacles arise, tap into, again, making sure that you are fulfilling your needs and desires, taking care of your needs, and you're also tapping into solitude, okay? Should any challenges or obstacles arise, gift yourself the solitude so that, again, you know what belongs to you and you know what does not belong to you. And you also gain so much clarity in general of what it is that you need to heal, what it is that you need to focus on, all of that when you gift yourself solitude. So what we should focus on healing, definitely we've got shadow work here, letting go of burdens. What we are focusing on this coming week and in Scorpio season is letting go of burdens. And this is also, again, I feel like last week's full moon in Aries reading coming up again, because in last week's reading, we were encouraged to no longer take on the role of the savior and taking on the responsibility of other people's burdens and other people's healings. That is not our responsibility. Someone else's healing, someone else's burdens, all of that, it does not belong to us. It is not a burden that we have to carry or that we should carry, because when we do try to carry that, we get in the way of divine order. We get in the way of divine timing. And so let that go, okay? Let that go. So for those of you that resonate with that, this is again another nudge, another confirmation that is work that you need to do. That is shadow work that you need to focus on. And in general, y'all, if you aren't sure what exactly you need to let go of or what burdens you have in your life that you need to release, gift yourself the solitude so that you can recognize what it is that you need to heal, what it is that you need to let go of, what is no longer in resonance with you and who you're becoming, what is a burden in your life and is holding you back, okay? So when it comes to what it is that we need to surrender, we've got to surrender, first and foremost, our ego, okay? Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Recognize when it is that your ego is coming up, and when you see it come up. And specifically in this case, your ego will show up as a scarcity-based thought. It will show up as you fearing letting go, you fearing giving, right? And focus on being of service, okay? Focus on giving. Focus on really tapping into gratefulness and that abundance mindset. We're also being called to surrender worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. So this is actually something that I have been doing whenever I notice that worry is arising, stress is arising, overthinking. I have just been taking that moment to acknowledge the emotion that is coming up for me, especially one that I know does not serve me well. Gifting myself that pause to acknowledge it, to become aware of it, to not immediately suppress it, right? Because that's a habit that we all have. And breathing it out, relaxing into it and letting it go. Because we know that suppressing it is just a repetitive cycle, a toxic pattern that just doesn't work, right? When we suppress how we're feeling, when we suppress our triggers, we are choosing to keep it stored in our body, right? We are actually choosing to not let it go. We're choosing to keep it. So because we know that suppressing it has not worked for us, we have to allow ourselves to feel into it and to breathe them out. Breathing not only brings you into the present moment, but it relaxes you. So when you are able to relax into these kinds of emotions that normally make you uptight, you're already transmuting it. You are already alchemizing it. You are already in the process of letting it go. We also, lastly but not leastly, got surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. So that is some other shadow work that you can do for those of you who feel like this resonates with you. Take a moment to ask yourself what remnants of low self-esteem still exist in your life and when they have the tendency to show up. And if you want to take it further, where is that reflection of low self-esteem rooted from? Why is it there? Where did it come from? So y'all, like when I channeled these cards, when I got to this point of the reading, it just came to me that this Scorpio season is going to be very beautiful if we allow it to. And the way that we allow it to be beautiful is if we are fully in the present moment, right? And also, this Scorpio season is going to be very emotional, okay? It's going to be very emotional. Scorpio is a water sign. Water is in tune with our emotions. And Scorpio is also a very intense feeler, right? Scorpios have very intense feelings. And something that I've been thinking about, something that I've learned in my Scorpio-ness is that my intensity, my emotions, the depth of my emotions is not a burden. It is a gift, okay? The depth of my emotions is not a burden, it is a gift, and that's something that I've had to affirm myself. And for those who have experienced the depth of my emotions and responded to that intensity, to that depth with lack of reciprocation in some way, shape, or form, simply just didn't have the capacity to reach to meet me in that depth. And that does not mean that I need to dim or lessen the depth of my emotions, nor does it mean that I need to hold resentment over the other person for them not having the same capacity and depth that I do. I don't know why I'm sharing all of this, but perhaps some of you needed to hear this. But ultimately, I'm not a burden. The way that I feel is not a burden. The depth of my emotions is not a burden. It is a gift. The depth of my love is a gift. The depth of my joy is a gift. The depth of my commitment, my enthusiasm, my encouragement, my light, all of that is such a gift. And so that is me letting go of thinking that I'm a burden in any way, shape, or form, that the way that I feel is a burden is one way that I've surrendered low self-esteem. So hopefully that resonates with some of you and brings light to some of you. But our affirmations for this week is I forgive myself. As I forgive myself, I leave behind all feelings of not being good enough, and I am free to love myself. So this is an affirmation that assists in surrendering low self-esteem. As I forgive myself, I leave behind all feelings of not being good enough, and I am free to love myself. And so forgiveness is also a big part of shadow work, y'all. Forgiveness is a big part of healing. Forgiving yourself and forgiving others is one of the most loving things that you can do for yourself. And remember that forgiveness doesn't necessarily equate to you allowing abusive or toxic behaviors in your life, but forgiving yourself and others is the acknowledgement that you no longer want to hold on to the burden or to the pain or to the heaviness of that situation or that experience. And you understand that with forgiveness, you are letting go of those burdens. Forgiveness allows you to no longer be held back by these experiences and these situations and these relationships that you've ultimately been holding on to due to the unforgiveness that has been taking place. We also got divine wisdom guides me. I am guided throughout this day in making the right choices. Divine intelligence continuously guides me in the realization of my goals. I am safe. Sorry, y'all, my neighbor is moving the trash cans. Divine wisdom guides me. This is again kind of like going back to the beginning of the reading where I'm going to practice patience. I'm going to let this pass. Okay. This is also tying back to the beginning of the reading where we are being confirmed and affirmed that we are being divinely guided and divinely supported when we are actively choosing and honoring ourselves over and over again, when we are practicing trusting ourselves, when we are healing. Divine wisdom guides us, okay? Divine intelligence continuously guides me in the realization of my goals. I am safe. I am safe. That is an affirmation to definitely affirm to yourself for those of you who are experiencing a lot of worry. For those of you who are having trouble trusting yourselves and trusting your talents in the midst of change. I am safe is a good affirmation for those of you who are experiencing moving in a new direction or will be moving in a new direction, which is basically all of us and many of us who have already been experiencing this, or for those of you who have been avoiding it, it's going to continue to come up and being encouraged for you to choose to move in a new direction. I'm going to read this affirmation one more time. I am guided throughout this day in making the right choices. Divine intelligence continuously guides me in the realization of my goals. I am safe. Keep trusting yourselves, y'all. Keep building that trust, okay? And keep letting go of those burdens. Keep letting go of the responsibility to heal others, to take care of others, to put others before yourself. And really, y'all, this is a time to really remain devoted and committed to taking care of your needs and fulfilling your soul's purpose, okay? This is really the time. This is really the time. Normally I film these readings in the morning, but I felt called to do it in the evening. So there's some new noises taking place in the neighborhood. But I hope that you all enjoyed this reading. Again, I wish that the first recording actually filmed because it was so good, but I know that I still got the main messages out to you. This is really, first week of Scorpio season. This is just a reading that is affirming to us that yes, we're going to experience change. Yes, we're going to experience opportunities that allow us to continue moving in a new direction, or to take that first step towards a new direction, and to really trust ourselves in that process, to trust ourselves in listening to our intuition, to trust ourselves in our decision making, and us ultimately knowing that we know what is best for us. And in trusting that us taking care of our needs, us fulfilling our desires, and really remaining committed and devoted to what it is that we're feeling called to do is the fulfillment that we are being called to do. Okay? This is not a time to doubt yourself. This is a time to trust yourself. Okay? And this is also a time of some shadow work for some of us. So if you are going to go through that, or you are going through that, just know that it is a season. It is going to pass. And just continue bringing yourself into the present moment, okay? Don't be overthinking, fixated on the past or on the future. Bring yourself back to this moment. Allow yourself to feel through your emotions without identifying with them. And an example of that is, like, instead of saying I am sad, it's I feel sad. There is such a significant difference there. And so allow yourself to go through this evolutionary season, of Scorpio season, of shadow work, of confronting yourself, and really letting go of what it is that you need to let go of. And know that you are being divinely guided. You are being divinely supported. You are being divinely led, okay? Especially as you tune more and more into your intuition, you are tuning in more and more into that divine intelligence, into that divine wisdom. So I'm so proud of every single one of you who are doing the work, who are showing up for yourselves, who are putting in effort into healing, into growing, into evolving, into really figuring out who your most authentic self is. I know it can be hard. I know it can be lonely. I know it can be uncertain and worrisome and stressful and scary, and all of these emotions that can feel just like a lot, can feel overwhelming. But I've been there. I still visit that space, that season. We all go through this, and I'm just so proud of you for allowing yourself to go through it, to grow through it, okay? Remember that everything you experience in your life is trying to teach you something, trying to teach you a lesson, and those lessons are trying to assist you in your ascension, trying to align you with your highest potential. So seek out the lessons in every experience that you have. All right, my friends, I'm excited to, in the next reading, hopefully get to go back to our regular scheduled programming of me pulling the cards in front of you. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Welcome to Scorpio season, my birthday season. And let's really be proud of ourselves and our efforts, okay? I'll see you in my next video. Sending you all so much love. Bye, y'all.